Hey, and good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Unlocked Show. I am your host. I'm Tracy Wilson. Today, it'll be a little bit different. It's a show. We're going to play a little bit of a game. So we're taking this whole show on a little bit of a turn, and we're going to turn it into a bit of a game show today. So hope that you guys are joining me. You are going to be up for a little bit of a treat. Going to be a bit different today, very interactive. So you'll need to pay attention. And hopefully, if you are watching today's session, you also watched last Friday's. And if you didn't, I would highly recommend that before you do the activity that I'm going to take you through today, that you actually go back and you do the activity that I gave everybody last week, which was in episode number 51. So I want to say firstly, welcome to those of you who are from our success, our group on Facebook called Success Secrets for Business, Family and Life. It's always a pleasure to have you guys here. And if you're not joining us from that group, boy, where have you been? You need to get on over to Facebook and join us in there, because we share a whole heap of things that really help you to thrive across your business, family and life. And we have a number of different shows, not just mine. So make sure that you head on over there and you make sure that you get inside of our group. So what I want to cover off today, we're going to take, like I said, we're taking this on a bit of a turn. We're going to play a bit of a game. This is going to become a show for today, a game show. And I'm going to do a game with you, and we're going to play a game called the Game of Values. So I want to know from you guys today if you're up for that. If you're up for it, just chat to me in the chat box below. If you're on Facebook, you put them into the comment section. If you're watching or listening anywhere else, just make sure that you put them into the comment section on whatever platform you are on. If you are listening to this on a podcast, what I will say to you is that you can also go to episode number 51 and you can download the worksheet that I provided to everybody. It will be in the show notes of the podcast. But today is going to be a really interesting exercise. Like I said to you guys last week, this is an exercise that I did probably a year or two ago, and it really was a game. Excuse the pun, but it was a bit of a game changer for me. It was like, had this massive aha moment. It was like, oh, I can see there are some things lurking that were lurking in my subconscious values and in my subconscious mind that were actually preventing me from, having the real success that I was looking for and that I desired. So I want to show you guys, I want to take you through this activity. Part one, like I said, was in episode number 51, and I'm going to bring that up on the screen in a minute and show you so that you understand exactly how this is going to work. And then today is the second part of that process. So what I'm going to help you do is really uncover what are some of the problems, what are your subconscious values, so that you can at least understand what they are, what they are, and you can then have a very informed, you can make a discerning decision about whether or not those values that you have, are they still serving you at the highest level? Are they still helping you to move forward? And if they are not, at the end of this little game show today, I'm also going to show you or tell you how you can go about, reprogramming them so that you can have some completely different set of values, so that they align with what it is that you need to, that you're desiring to do, so that you can start building, the family and the business and the life that you really, really want. So like I said, this little game is called the Game of Values. So are you guys up for it? So before I get started, chat to me. Tell me, where are you dialing in from? I can see a bunch of you guys here. I know that there will be a bunch of you guys. Tell me where you are dialing in from. And I would, because I would love to know. I'm dialing in from the Gold Coast of Australia. So yeah, tell me where you're from. Okay, so we've talked about, what it is that what this is all about and why you need to do this. I've mentioned that you need to go back and have a look at the exercise in episode number 51, which you can get inside of the Success Secrets for Business, Family and Life. Hi, Dallas and Sylvia. I'm seeing New Zealand. I'm seeing Gold Coast. I'm seeing Colorado, a whole bunch of people from all over the world, which is fantastic. So do that exercise in episode number 51. And by now, you should have taken the list. So I'm going to show you the list that I provided you the other day. I'm just going to pop it up on the screen. Again, sorry for you guys who are on the podcast, but again, it'll be down below in the show notes. But this is the document that you should have downloaded, and you should have gone through and completed this little piece of homework. So on that list, when you are evaluating your values, What I asked you to do was have a look at this list, and it had like over 100 different values on it. I simply wanted you to look at it and choose the ones that most resonated with you. I wanted you to take those. I wanted you to take each individual one of them, 10 of them, and only 10 of them. And I wanted you to put them onto a post-it note or a separate piece of paper. So right now, I want you, if you do not have them in front of you at this moment in time, I want you to go and get them. I want you to have them in front of you right now. So at the moment, they should be either stuck to your post-it note piece of paper, or you should have, the individual pieces of paper are next to you. What I now want you to do is I want you to take those individual pieces of paper or post-it notes, and I want you to put each individual one of those post-it notes out in front of you so that you can actually clearly see them all. So lay them all out in front of you, whether you're sitting on the floor or sitting on your desk or on your kitchen table, just put them out in front of you. I want you to see them very, very clearly, and I want you to be able to access them, make them accessible to you really easily. So if you could please just do that really quickly for me, and then I'm going to walk you through how this game is going to be played, because it's going to be a little, it's going to be a bit of fun, but it also requires you guys to play along. Don't overthink this. Don't be procrastinating. Don't be questioning what I'm doing. Just go with the flow. When you go with the flow, you're going to get the best out of this, I promise. Okay, so what's then going to happen is I'm going to offer you things. I'm going to offer you some amazing things. And what you are going to do is when I offer them to you, you have to pay me for what I'm going to offer you. So in exchange for what I'm going to give you, you're going to pay me. Metaphorically speaking, you are going to pay me, but you're not going to pay me with money. You are going to pay me with one of your values. Okay, so you're going to pay me with one of the values. So like I said, I'm going to offer you some things, and these things that I'm going to offer you, you are going to want. So I want you to move through this with the mindset of whatever Tracy's got, I want it, and I want it real bad. Okay, so what I'm going to offer you, you want. And everything that I offer you is going to be of benefit to you, or it is going to benefit your closest and dearest loved ones. So I want you to think about that. So everything I offer, you are going to want, and it is going to be highly beneficial for you and or your loved ones. But of course, everything that I'm going to offer you, because there's some pretty amazing stuff, is going to be hypothetical. Why? Because this is a game. But nonetheless, you want all of the things that I'm going to offer you. So I will need you to commit to me now that you are prepared to do that, to make sure that this process works as well as it can for you. So before we move on, I just need a commitment from you to say yes. Again, if you are listening and you're not able to type in a chat box, just write it down. Yes, Trace, I'm ready to do this. I am willing to play the game as prescribed and as you have I set the rules. So I've set the rules, and you guys are going to comply with the rules of the game. Are you guys good with that? I'm going to wait. Everyone's saying, yes, it's game night. Yes, I am. So that's beautiful. Okay, dokie. So I'm going to read them out. This is how it's going to work. I'm going to read them out one by one. And each time I do, you have to pay me with one of your values, like I said. I don't want you to overthink it. I don't want you to fight it. I just want you to trust in the process. Each time I ask you a question, I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to decide which one of those beautiful values that are staring up at you right now, you are going to pay me with. You are going to give that up. And when you give it up, you will never have it back. Okay. So in this case, you're never going to get that value back. So you want to, you want to give them up. You're going to give them to a very nice person. I will take good care of them, but you are going to give them up and you're not going to get them back. But in exchange, I'm going to give you something amazing that you really, really do want in return for your value. Is everybody okay with that? And are you guys ready to go? If you are, tell me I'm good to go. All right, good to play. Okay, so here we go. So as I said, you should have all of your post-it notes or your pieces of paper down in front of you, staring up beautifully at you, and remembering that those values are the things that make you the amazing person that you are today. They are the things that you hold dear to your heart. They should be the ones that resonate with you most, and they mean a lot to you. So if you did the process right in exercise number 1, that's how you will feel about those values that you are looking at right now. Okay, and I'm just also going to say, as I'm reading these out, and you are playing the game, there's no need for you to even communicate with me unless I ask you to. You don't need to put in which one you've given up in the chat box or anything like that. This is purely personal. There is no right or wrong. You're just going to play along with this game. Okay, so here is the very first thing that I am going to offer you today. So we know that, money is not everything, but it sure makes a big difference to the way in which you live. And if you had a lot of money, imagine the things that you'd be able to do. Imagine how well you could look after your family, and maybe you could give back to a whole bunch of people that you would love to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put $5 million into your bank account so that you can do with it whatever you like. If you want to start a business, you want to create something new, you want to buy a house, whatever the heck it is you want to do with it, it's totally up to you. No questions asked. I'm just going to give it to you. But in return for that, you have to pay me with one of your values. So I want you to look down right now at those 10 amazing values, and I want you to pick one of them, and you are going to give it to me, because right now I am the banker. So you're going to give me that value, and you're giving it up, and it's not going to be seen again. So do that little exercise, take a look down, grab the value, and hand it over. Thank you very much. And I will just add it to my nice little pile with a whole bunch of you guys that are on here right now. I'm going to be a very valuable woman. Let's just put it that way. So thank you for giving that up. Okay, so that should be 10 seconds over. Everybody good with that? Don't procrastinate, like I said. If you haven't given it up yet, cough it up, buddy. You got to make a decision. Fast game's a good game. All right, next one is, I have a magic pill that can actually cure any ailment that you or any family member has. And it's going to guarantee that you will have you'll be in the best of health, and so will your family members for their entire life. Again, I want you to look down at those beautiful values, and I want you to give it up. All right, I want you to put it in a pile. So all you're doing is, you're giving it to me, make a Tracy pile. Put it to the side, right-hand side of you, put it in the pile. Will have my beautiful name on it, and you'll be ready and willing to give them up. So go ahead and do that. So this is for the magic pill that can cure any ailment you or your family member might have, and it will guarantee their health and your health for their entire life. You must give up one of your values. Okay, beautiful. All right. The next thing I'm going to give you today is, I want you to actually think about for a moment 2 of the worst things that you have ever done. These things might have been playing on your mind for some time. Might have been things that you've done in your past that you are not proud of. You might still have some guilt, some resentment, some embarrassment, and some shame over them. What I'm going to offer you is, I'm going to allow you to go back in time, go to that moment in time where you did those 2 worst things, and you can erase them from your life. You can erase them from your past so they no longer burden you. Okay, so the two worst things that you've ever done, things that maybe, you're not proud of, might feel guilty about, embarrassment or shame, or whatever that, awful feeling is, you just want to erase it from your life. I want you to think about 2 of them, and I'm giving you the power right now to go back and erase them from your past. So as of today, in this moment, they no longer burden you. Okay. The next thing is, right now we're in the midst of a pandemic, and we are in the midst of wave 2 hitting, multiple countries all over the world, and life as we knew it has changed significantly. It has meant that many of us, particularly those of us who have moved from one country to another, would dearly love to be able to go home to our homeland and see the friends and family members that we miss so dearly. But we're unable to do that because all of the borders are shut and there are restrictions left, right, and centre. So I'm going to give you the power to open up the borders all over the world. We're going to do it in a very safe manner, which would mean that we would be able to travel freely again to any destination without fear. So we have the power to open the borders all over the world, and we're going to do it really safely, which is going to mean that we're going to be able to travel. We're going to be able to see our loved ones. We're going to be able to do the things that we love to do. And we're going to be able to visit any destination we like, anywhere in the world, without fear. So I want you to look down at your list of values, at your post-it notes or your pieces of paper that have your values on it. And I want you to give one of those values up in exchange for the power that you are going to be given. Okay. The next thing you are going to be given today is I have a spell. I have a spell that I can cast on you right now. And this spell that I'm going to cast on you is actually going to remove all of your worries, all of your concerns. It's going to erase anything negative that's ever happened to you in the past so that you're able to live your life with peace and absolute happiness. So you're going to be able to live your life in total peace and happiness. You'll have no worries or concerns whatsoever. Take a look at those values right now, and I want you to give one of them up. So right now, guys, I don't know if you're feeling like this is getting a little bit harder, because as you give them up, the values that you have left that should be looking up at you should be the ones that you hold in highest regard. So this is most likely getting harder and harder for some of you. Let me know if that is the case. Are you finding this more and more difficult to give up the values that you hold dear? Let me know if that is the case. Okay. The next one I have is I have the ability to ensure that there is always enough abundance of food in the world. So I know that people that follow me, they are really lovely people. They want, they want happiness in the world. They want people to be able to live freely. They want there to be enough food for everybody. They don't like suffering in the world. So I know that if you're following me and you listen to the Unlocked show, that is something that you would be, you are a empathetic person. You want good for people. So right now we've got the ability to ensure that there is always an abundance of food in the world, and that there is enough resources to make sure that no one in the world ever goes hungry. Right, so we have the ability to do that. And right now in this current world, we don't have that ability. But with my magic, you're going to have this ability. And you're going to make sure that nobody in the world ever goes hungry. Okay. Last question I've got for you for the moment. I'm going to give you the ability to bring back somebody that you absolutely adore. Somebody that was a role model to you. Somebody that was a hero of yours. Somebody that you would love to just get a few moments of time with them again. But they're no longer here on this earth. But you have the ability to bring them back, and you can bring them back for one night only. You can spend time with them doing whatever you want. And boy, when I read that one, man, I'm thinking of some people that I would just love. I would give up my values just to have a few more moments with them, to sit around the dinner table and, tell them how much you love them and how much you miss them, and, just hear their voice again. So I want you to think about that. And I want you to think about that person or persons. You can have a whole dinner party if you like. I want you to think about those people, and I want you to look down at your values, and I want you to pay me with one of those values to have this in return. Okay? I know, done with tears, right? I'm like, ugh. Yep. Tough question. So just think about that for a moment. And I'm going to say that in this moment, when we're thinking about that, I want us to think about the people that we do have in our lives. And I want us to think about all the things that, you were just thinking about. I wish I had said, I wish I had done, I wish I could, so that you can do them now, so that you can do them with the people that you love, the people that you want to be around now. Okay, little digression there, but just want you guys to have that moment to think about that. Okay, so right now, when you're looking down at your list of values, you should have 3 left. If I'm correct, you should have 3 of them left. Those 3 values will be the 3 highest values that you hold in your mind and in your subconscious mind. What I want you to do now is I want you to look at those 3, and I want you to pick the one that you just, no matter what it is that I offered you, you just would not give it up. You just wouldn't want to give it up. Grab that one and just put that one to the side. Grab the other 2, put them on top of the pile that you just created. So you should have a pile of 9, and then take the one that you would not give up, no matter what it was that I did, what I gave you, even though I said to you at the beginning, you must give it up, that you would just be so reluctant to want to give away. I want you to take it, and I want you to put it on the top of the other 10. And then when you've done that, I want you to come back. I want you to go to the comment section, and I want you to type in the comment section that you have completed that exercise, that you've paid me with all 9, and you've got that one left that you've put on the top. One left that you've put on the top. Okay, and once you've done that, I want you to come back, and I want you to just type to me in the chat box and just let me know that you've completed that exercise. Okay, so I'm just going to wait for a few of you. Just make sure that you get an opportunity to complete that exercise, because it's powerful, and it means, this is going to help you to understand what your subconscious values are. And then we're going to determine whether or not they are actually serving you well at this time, or they are actually hindering your success, hindering you in some way, shape, or form. All right, so I'm getting a lot of people that are saying, done, 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 done. Perfect. Okay, so now let's go into, what did we actually do with that exercise? So that exercise to me was extremely powerful when I did it. And it really is, it's a way of being able to prioritize your values. It helps you to prioritize what are your highest values. So as you noticed, you started out with 10 of them. And if I wasn't really, mean and said, hey, I'm going to give you all these wonderful things, but you must cough something up, you would never have got to the point where you understood what your highest value is. So right now you've got a whole pile, you've got 10. What I want you to do is I want you to take the one that you would not give up, and I want you to take the next 2. So those next 2, so you should have 3 of your highest values. I want you to look down at those highest values. And I'm going to assume that right now that most of you guys, you guys are business people. You want to have success in your life in terms of business. Okay. So this is the angle that we're coming at this from. If it's about family or it's about life in general, well, you might look at this slightly differently, but I'm certainly going to look at it from a business perspective, because most of you, when I pose this, you think about real success in your life, most of you, because you are here, you want to get success in your business, you will look at it yourself as being successful when you're successful in business. All right, that will sort of be the one thing that you'll look at, and then everything else sort of falls in line there under. You might be an amazing mum, amazing father, so on and so forth, but you will look at that as sort of your benchmark. So that's how we're going to look at this. So you're going to look at those 3 values. And I just want you can, if you want to, you can post them into the chat box if you like, but it's totally not required. They are yours, and they're private if you so wish to keep them that way. Now, one of the things, if you are in business, we know that to be successful, you have to make money, right? You have to make money, because if you don't make money, it's pretty hard to keep going. You're going to have questions thrown at you. Why are you doing this? You're going to question yourself, and it will just remain a hobby. So if you really want to have any success in business, you need to be successful when it comes to your ability to be able to make money. Now what I want you to do is I want you to have a look at those, and I want you to have a look and see whether or not you have in your top 3 values money or wealth, money or wealth, or something of that nature, something that is to do with finances, something that is to do with having a lot of money or abundance in your life. So just let me know, look down and have a look at those. Okay. And if you don't, and you are in business, this may be an indicator to you that some of your, I'm seeing I've got non-negotiable values here. There may be some values that you have that may not necessarily be serving you well in business. So for example, a lot of we're in a group that's about business, family, and life. A lot of us will have family as potentially your highest or in your top 3, which is admirable. And we want to have that. And we do what we do because we want to look after our family. But often subconsciously in the back of our mind, that often can be the thing that holds us back from having any real success. Sounds a little bit counterintuitive, but what you need to do is, if you do have family at the top of your value system, you also want to make sure that you also have money, prosperity, you have abundance, you have wealth, financial success, that you have that somewhere in your top 3 values. And the way that you realign them is thinking about the ones that you have created. Can money help me provide more for my family? Will I be able to, have more in my life if I had more money, etc., etc.? This will actually help you to understand that when you're talking to people about quotes, when you're talking to them about pricing what you do, etc., valuing yourself is going to help you to be in alignment with that. Often when we're working out of alignment with our core values and our subconscious values, life just doesn't work. It doesn't feel right. Things just, you're just like, oh man, this just feels a little bit off. There's something not right here. That's often an indicator that you're out of alignment with your values. Now, what you might find is that your values, you might be looking at them now and going, oh crap, I don't have any of those. Tracy just said I need to have money, abundance, prosperity, financial stability, somewhere on my list, and I don't have them. What do I do? Okay, this is going to sound really simple, but what do you do? It is so simple that most people miss this. I want you to look at them, and I want you to write down on a piece of paper new ones. I want you to write down some new values that you now want to start living by. I now want you to look at them, and I want you to write them down on your Post-it note, and I want you to put them at the top of your values list. You are going to replace the ones that you feel are no longer serving you at the highest level, and you are going to create new ones. And then you are going to start thinking about, who do I need to be? Who do I need to become? Who do I need to start being right now? What are the attributes, the behaviors that I need to be living by that will help me to live in alignment with the new values that I have just written for myself? That is the way in which you realign your values. That is the way in which you choose new values, particularly for those of you who are looking at them going, man, these ones, that's why I'm just, I feel like I'm taking 10 steps forward and I get 3 steps back. Because the thing is, regardless of what, if you don't rewrite these, what happens is that our values they're almost like the factory setting. They're like the thing that we have instilled inside of us. So as soon as it's like a rubber band, as soon as you start to do things that are outside of your value system, you're going to go so far, stretch, and then ping, you're going to be right back to where you started. And that's why you feel like you have that resistance. You pull the band to a point where it just cannot stretch any longer. And what happens is it just goes back to a state where it feels comfortable, a state where it feels like it's it's got some room to move. It feels like it can breathe again. So that's exactly what happens when you are not living to your values. Things will feel off. Things won't feel right. You'll walk 10 steps ahead only to find yourself take a number of steps backwards. So the way in which you do this, like I said, is you're going to look at those values. You are going to rewrite your values. You are going to choose new ones and then start living by them. Start being the person who would have that set of values. Now, I hope that you guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed this exercise today. It's a little bit different. I wanted to take the show down a different path. I actually learned this. I'm going to pay credit to the person that actually did this exercise with me. His name is Jim Fortin. He is an amazing mentor that I have had in the past. And I did this exercise with him and I was like, oh, crap. I can see that there are some things that in my value system that weren't in alignment with what it was that I was trying to do. And I can tell you that when I started working on this, I identified it. Right. So that's exactly what I've allowed you. The process that you've done today is to allow you to identify what are your values. You've then prioritized them. So you know what your top 3 are. It'll be your top 3 that you will continually be working, you'll be working on and for. Okay, so those are the ones that will be either pulling you back or propelling you forward. And if they are not ones that are propelling you forward, you have the power to change them today. So simply pick new ones and start living your values. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this session today. I want to know, have you enjoyed it? Was it eye-opening? Did you learn something? Was it powerful? Are you feeling like, oh, I'm seeing some aha moments right here? If you are, let me know in the chat. And, you just never know. I might do a few more sessions like this because I think these exercises are really, really good for, they certainly were good for me. And I'm sure that they will be good for many other people when I share them again. So what I've done is a little bit different to the way in which Jim Fortin does it, but I think this is a really good exercise to do, and I hope you enjoyed this little format of a game show that we have done for today. So I'm going to love you guys and leave yous. I'm going to be so kind as to give you back the values. You don't have to pay me a thing today. That was purely an exercise just to help you to uncover what your values were. But thank you so much for offering them up to me. I feel very valued and very blessed that that you were willing to give your highest values to me, and I appreciate that. So thanks very much for watching another episode of the Unlocked Show. I'm Tracy Wilson. I'm going to be back here again next week on Wednesday. So Wednesdays and Fridays are my day where I go live. We're live on about 8 different channels. The place to be is most definitely inside of the Success Secrets for Business, Family and Life group on Facebook, because we share all sorts of other things inside of that group that you don't get anywhere else. So make sure that you get yourself on over there. And I'm going to be back again next week. So, hang around with me. And if you feel so inclined, I would absolutely love your love over on my podcast. So you can find my podcast on all the different channels. Go find it, go download it. And if you like the show, leave me a little review. That always makes me feel good. And I hope it makes you feel good too, leaving one. So thanks very much. Have a fantastic weekend. I'll be back here again next week on Wednesday, Brisbane time, 10 a.m. See you then, and continue to live your life unlocked, because as you know, there is just no other way. See you guys.